What's the history of Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of Arc? Why did England execute her? So her actual name was Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc, okay? In English, she's called Joan of Arc, but the actual French name is Jeanne d'Arc. So, as you can see, she was born sometime in 1412 or something, and she was murdered in 1431. We're talking about the 15th century here, okay? So, what's the story of this girl? So, this period is the 100-year war between England and France. It's a period of time when England claims France as its own territory. These two nations, they have a 1,000-year enmity, France and England. There have been times when France has claimed England, and you have had French kings or French-speaking kings ruling over England. And then you have this 100-year war period when the English claimed France, and they wanted to capture French territory and make France an English colony or an English possession or English territory. And that the war is going on. So you have this king called Charles the Seventh. Charles the Seventh, right? Charles the Seventh. Charles the Seventh, who was the French leader, and we're talking about the early 15th century. Jeanne, this girl, is born somewhere in the northwest of France. Okay, 1412 or thereabouts. And when she's a teenager, she has visions. She has visions of, visions of some kind, and visions from angels or saints or something. And these visions tell her that she has to go and fight for France. She has to go and fight for the king of France, or the uncrowned king of France, the Dauphin. The Dauphin is the uncrowned king of France, Charles the Seventh. He had not been crowned yet. So the visions told her that you have to go and fight for France, fight for France's freedom against the English. Go support your king. Make him king. He's not king yet, and so on. So she somehow goes to the court of the Dauphin of France, Charles the Seventh, and she's able to convince Charles the Seventh that she has been sent by God. She has divine blessings or whatever, and she is sent to fight a battle. It was Orleans, was it? Orleans? I think it was Orleans. So she goes with the French troops to this city that the English are besieging, Orleans, and she's able to inspire the troops into defeating the English. And then she's sent somewhere else, and she succeeds there also, right? So she becomes this sensation, this divine girl with divine blessing, a teenager, 16, 17 or whatever years old, right? And she's wearing armor. She's wearing soldier's dress, costume with armor, and she's fighting. She got wounded in Orleans, but she was able to succeed. And she really galvanizes the troops and boosts their morale. And the French are resurgent. And because of this success, Charles the Seventh is then crowned the King of France, right? So it looks like because of Joan of Arc, God is on the side of the French. She is blessed by God, not the gods. They don't have the gods. They only have one God. And God is now on the side of France. Eventually, in some battle, she is captured by the English. Maybe there is some treason. Maybe she was captured by somebody and handed over to the British, whatever. Then the British, what they do is they try her for heresy or something. So it was like this. See, this young girl, peasant girl, who has no military training, she has been able to inspire the French armies into victory over England. That clearly indicates that she has divine blessing. Now, how do you deal with that? One way of dealing with that is to claim that it was not divine blessing, it was satanic blessing. It was the devils or whatever who were possessed this girl. Because if you say she is a divinely blessed girl or something, then it means that God was actually fighting on the side of France. So how do you challenge that? The only way to challenge it is by claiming that she was actually possessed by devil or Satan or something like that, or demons. Your visions were demonic visions, satanic visions. and you actually are possessed, and this girl is wearing male dress. She's wearing male clothing and armor. That is obviously completely contrary to the natural order of things and the will of God. That is so unchristian for a woman to wear male costume and fight as a male soldier, right? So they prepared these charges against this girl, and then they said that they told the girl they brought her to court, and there was this Christian hearing and all, and she was said that she will be immediately executed unless she recants or whatever. So or she gives an undertaking that she will no longer do these things, and my visions may be perhaps were not divine. So she agreed to write this, or put her signature or whatever it was on this confession, and she agreed that I will not wear male clothing, and therefore I will not offend God anymore. But then she's found to be wearing male clothing again in the prison, because apparently the only clothing that was given to her was male clothing. So they did not give her female clothing; they gave her male clothing to wear, and that's the only thing she had to wear because it was cold, and wear something, right? So whatever was available, you wear it. So she's again found to be wearing male clothing. So they first tried to they first gave her the opportunity to change her ways so that the entire prosecution can look merciful. But then they gave her male clothing to wear, so they trapped her by doing so. And eventually they said that, what, she is not really a divinely blessed girl. The visions she had were demonic visions, and we gave her the chance to mend her ways, but she insisted on keeping on wearing male clothing and so on, which is why she has to be she is condemned to death, and she was then executed by the English. They burned her alive at the age of 18 or 19. Poor girl, right? All she did was fight for her country. So that's the deal about Joan of Arc. The British were very nasty, very cruel, but they did what they had to do, I suppose, from their perspective, the English. So that's why England executed Joan of Arc, and eventually, I think it was in the 20th century that the Catholic Church sainted her or something, beatified her. They declared her a saint, and she's one of the saints, patron saints of whatever, in France. So if you go to Orléans today, I'm sure you will find a statue of Joan of Arc there, and so on. That's the story of Joan of Arc.